Welcome to the show that teaches you the things your parents and teachers are too afraid to. The heliosblog. Today, we have a grudge match. Kamala Harris versus RFK. Apparently, these guys are debating about that. This should be good.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Want to maintain and you don't want to give up on your candidate. But the American people have been seeing for the longest time, let's forget the policies for a moment, but is cognitive decline. Now, if you take a look back at the 2020 debate and now you see what Biden's become, you can already notice the decline begin then. But the media, the politicians, they chose to gaslight the voters, the donors, and all of the American people lying, as you just saw. No, Biden is as sharp as a tack. He's not ill, he's mentally fit, and now he himself is acknowledging that he can't. And I also want to point out that this is a very rare election. At least in my lifetime, this is the first time you have a Trump presidency to compare to a Biden presidency. You have 4 and 4 years to look and compare and contrast, and it's a no-brainer. Yet they chose to gaslight us over and over again. And now we have a bigger issue that we cannot trust the Democratic Party. We cannot trust the media because they lied to us to our face unapologetically and continue to do so.
Cenk Uygur, I know that you've not wanted Biden to continue, so I presume that you're happy he's out of the race. But how happy are you that we now seem to be moving very quickly to a coronation of Queen Kamala, who has not had a single vote from any voters?
Yeah, I'm not happy about it at all. So, first of all, I will give credit to Joe Biden on this. He did let go of...
I wonder if that was the plan from the beginning. They knew what was going to happen. They put this guy in power on purpose so that they could get a girl president. So you can further entrench the woke narrative? Is that the
power?
point?
Yes, it took a long time. Yes, we pushed him out.
If it can't be Hillary, it's going to be
I was
Kamala.
one of the people pushing him out. But at the end, he did the right thing, which Donald Trump would never, ever do. And we saw that he didn't do in 2020. Now, on to Kamala Harris. I think MSNBC has trained Democratic voters and politicians to be minions, and they're desperate for a leader. Hold on, let's vet her. There's a reason why Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Hakeem Jeffries have not endorsed her. That's actually amazing that they haven't endorsed her. So let's actually figure out if she's the right candidate or not. Why do we have to panic? Democrats are always panicking. Let's figure out who the best candidate is. Just take a minute to do that.
And who do you think, of all the names that have been mentioned, all the governors and other candidates who potentially may be involved, which now can't include people like Gavin Newsom, he's ruled himself out, and some of the other favourites, of the names who haven't yet committed to Kamala Harris, who's there that you think could potentially be a better option?
Look, I've always thought that you could put together an amazing team from the Democratic governors that already exist. Of the names that haven't endorsed her yet, still Andy Beshear and Wes Moore are on the table. One won twice in Kentucky as a Democratic governor, which is amazing. Wes Moore is a dynamic governor of Maryland. But the bottom line is, I don't have a strong opinion on who it should be, other than to say, for God's sake, do an open convention and let's test them. And whoever's the best, whoever's the strongest will win.
I don't know about this. Oh, but isn't he one that wants to run
so
for president?
Obvious and so logical. We don't need to panic. There's a lot of great options. And you know what's going to happen if they panic right now? They're going to pick Kamala. Oh, my God, we have to have a leader. They pick Kamala. And then we see a couple of problems with Kamala. They're like, oh, nobody could have seen that coming. Yeah, that's why you should vet them. The number one problem we had with Biden is that we didn't test them. Let's not make that same mistake again.
Okay, Vinny Ashana, Donald Trump rang me on Saturday night. I just got to New York. I did a hit on Fox News. He was watching it. And I was talking about the extraordinary personal courage I felt he showed when he was shot. I mean, to be shot as someone who was president, maybe president again, at a rally, and then to get back up when you've been taken down by your Secret Service agents and do what he did, punch the air, chant fight, 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 even with blood spurting all over his face. And so then, frankly, a week later, on Saturday night, to go back on a stage, back at another rally with tens of thousands of people, who most of whom you will have never met before, have no idea who they are, That shows a lot of personal courage, whatever you think of Trump. But when I spoke to him, he was, I got to say, icily confident. He was chilled. He was relaxed about it all. He was enjoying the mayhem around the Democrats. But he has his eye on the prize. And I think he believes fundamentally it doesn't matter who the Democrats put in charge. He's going to win.
You might be right.
Piers, I don't know. I honestly don't know what you're talking about. I, like Democrats like Joy Reid, believe that was all set up. Donald Trump set all that up. That was fake blood, fake, the two gentlemen, the gentleman that died, the fireman, that's all fake. None of it's real. I think it's all BS. I think it was all fake. I'm actually being extremely facetious.
Do you know what, Vinny?
Piers, but
Do you
Piers,
know what, Vinny? I'm actually glad you started.
Piers, let's think about this.
Listen, I'm glad you started with a joke.
Yeah.
I want to make the point, though, that even though I know you're joking, the reality is that they have been behaving, people like Joy Reid and others, exactly how they've accused Trump of behaving for years. Exactly the same way. They've told deliberate lies. They've said black is white. They've said the sky is blue when it's green and so on. They've literally been lying and deliberately lying. None of them believe it was staged, but they are happy to fuel a conspiracy theory, even if it makes them look like two-faced hypocrites.
Piers, not surprised when it comes to the Democrats. And let's be honest, Piers, at least we're not living in a boring time. In the past 2 weeks, we've lived through an attempted coup by the killing of Donald Trump. They tried. And now an actual coup of Joe Biden. Let's not get it twisted, Piers.
Right.
The night of the debate, the last...
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but I think the strategy is to get Kamala in power because she's a woke puppet, right?
Presidential debate. When they saw, the world saw Joe Biden for what he really was, a plan was put in motion, and that plan was get rid of Donald Trump. We have to kill him. Plain and simple. This isn't a conspiracy. Okay, Kim Cheadle just came on in front of Congress, Piers, before I got in here, and she said in front of Congress, and I quote, "The assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump on July 13 is the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades." She's claiming incompetence. Piers, I'm leaning towards orchestrated negligence, okay? You want us to believe that some 20-year-old kid, no social media presence, no camouflage, climbed on a roof with cameras everywhere, laid there, and got shots off on the president? Give me a break. They know, Piers, they've been trying to destroy this guy from the beginning. The last attempt was murder him. That didn't work, and now guess what they said? Now, since Joe Biden, because if you think about it, Piers, if Trump, God forbid, is dead, they don't move on from Joe Biden. Joe Biden, they just do what they did for COVID. Keep him in the basement, show him 5-6 seconds here and there, and that's it. Their plan failed. Now they got to move on. And I'm telling you, Piers, ready for this? Come August, if Kamala's polls are trash, at the DNC convention, which is in Chicago, Michelle Obama. I know Cenk was talking about popular and who's going to lift weight.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the extent of the corruption happening, I don't even know what to say. Like, that's an insane level of corruption for a supposed world power. Though we know, right, that all states are corrupt, but to that extent.
It'll be Michelle Obama. Kamala has no chance. Her past is going to come out. At 29 years old, she was having an affair with Willie Brown, who was 60 years old. She slept her way to the top. She has no credibility. All she does is laugh and cackle. She's the border czar. She's never been to the border. It's a shit show. And Donald Trump, God is watching Donald Trump's back. Piers, I don't care what anybody says. That's divine intervention. God grabbed his head and said, nope, not today. That's it.
Well, listen, the part of that I agree with wholeheartedly is something happened to save Donald Trump, which was truly miraculous, because a quarter of an inch to the other side, and that bullet goes straight through his head and kills him. So it was an astonishing escape. In relation to your...
Can I ask you a question?
Let's be friendly. Let's call them theories. I would say this. I don't think it was an inside job, as some conspiracy theories think, but I do think it was extremely odd. I want to bring in Farron Cousins here now. I mean, this idea that a 20-year-old kid gets an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle and just calmly strolls onto the top of a rooftop, literally 150 yards from President Trump, is so outlandish. And when you hear the director of the Secret Service today, I've got the clip. Let me play the clip so we can hear exactly what she admits.
Insane.
The assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on July 13th is the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades, and I am keeping him and his family in my thoughts. What I can say is that the individual was identified as suspicious. If the detail had been past information that there was a threat, the detail would never have brought the former president out onto stage.
So you distinguish between someone who is suspicious and someone who's threatening, is that right?
I do.
Oh, come on.
I mean, it just seems incredible to me, Farron, that there's the director of Secret Service admitting they knew this person was there and might constitute some kind of threat, but they still didn't do anything, and they allowed.
Yeah, you mean a dude with an AR on a roof at a presidential rally? No, that's all fine.
President to walk out. I spoke to Trump on Saturday, and he said the thing that bemuses him most is that quite often at public events, that his detail will hold him back for 10, 15 minutes while they're just checking something out that looks a bit suspicious. And he said invariably it's fine, and then he goes back on 10, 15 minutes later than he planned to. How can it be that you have members of the public shouting up at this guy's on the roof with a gun, and they still allow Trump out there to get shot at?
I mean, what more needs to be said?
You know, I mean, there's no doubt that there are failures all around here, from the Secret Service to the local police officers that were also aware that this individual was there and did nothing about it. But I am going to point out real quick just how Vinny there starts off mocking conspiracy theories, then immediately goes into his own conspiracy theories. So let's not let that go overlooked.
I was being facetious, Farron. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Relax.
A joke.
As for the Secret Service, okay. As
Liberals
for
don't like
the
jokes,
Secret
Vinny.
Service, we have a Secret Service that for many years now has been dangerously understaffed. They're about 350 agents short-staffed, in spite of the fact that their budget has increased by about $1.2 billion, I think, over the last 12, 14 years. So this agency has serious...
No. That's not the problem. The problem is you purposely didn't bring the resources you needed on the day, or you... Like, if you didn't do it on purpose, I'm afraid that's even worse.
Problems that do need to be addressed. And we can even go back and look at some of the failures that they had during the Obama administration, when somebody on the street was able to fire 7 shots off into the White House residence. Somebody jumped the White House fence with a knife and made it into the White House during the Obama years before the Secret Service stopped them. So these failures are not just something that popped up within the last week. This is something that absolutely has been going on for a long time and has not been addressed by anyone, really. And now it's all come to a head, and hopefully they can get things figured out, find out what the problems are with this agency. It certainly isn't a lack of money. It just, I don't know what they can do, but they definitely need to get on it, and it doesn't seem like they're there yet.
Well, it seems an abject failure in just basic common sense. I mean, in the first place, if I was trying to protect someone who'd been a president of the United States, the first thing I'd look at is any rooftop near the stage. I mean, it's just like Route 1, isn't it? And there was this kid lying there with his rifle, and nobody checked. Nobody was guarding it. It's just, to me, it's completely baffling. So I do understand why so many conspiracy theories are raging around about this, because actually it's inexplicable.
Indeed.
And I hope we get some answers. From what I've been seeing so far of Kim Cheadle, the director of the Secret Service, she's not really answering any questions today, other than to say it's the biggest operational failure for decades.
Indeed.
On the bigger story now, incredibly, I mean, a week ago you thought this story would run the assassination attempt. We're now moving to Biden quitting, an historic moment in American political history. On that, Farron, what is your view about this kind of move very quickly by the hierarchy of the Democrats?
Well, again, guys, is anyone else seeing how, suspicious this is? You don't get the thing that you wanted, which is the assassination. So you immediately have to pivot and switch Joe out because he's not going to win the election. So, man, it's crazy.
To anoint Kamala Harris as the nominee, Do you think that is a healthy thing? Or do you think, like Cenk, it's better that this runs to even a brokered convention? We have anyone who wants to put their hat in the ring does so, and then they have to earn the right to be nominee.
I agree 100% with Cenk here. I mean, there is no reason why we need to be, jumping at this and immediately, within hours after Biden makes his announcement, Harris has already been anointed as the heir apparent to the Democratic Party. What we need is, like Cenk says, more people. We need individuals to actually do the job and get out there and start campaigning. They don't have a ton of time, but they've got a little bit of time to do this. And we need to get to know people. We haven't had the convention yet, so there is plenty of time to do it. But to me, the bigger issue is we wouldn't even be in this situation right now if we had a real Democratic convention, which we didn't have. We didn't have debates. We didn't have Biden up on stage having to actually deal with any of these other Democrats that were running at the time. If we'd had a real...
Right, and his old man energy would have not won any competition.
primary, we wouldn't be in this situation today.
Okay, Emily, look, we are where we are with this. I mean, how we got here has been totally chaotic. I mean, the irony is, when this began, people were bemoaning the fact this was the most boring campaign ever between two old guys duking it out for the second time. Nobody is saying that now. We're now into completely unprecedented times where, yes, since World War II, there have been two other presidents who've stood down, but actually never at this late stage of a race. And the question, I guess, for the Democrats is, if you do go to a brokered convention in a month, you're leaving it so tight. Never mind anything else, the vetting process for people who actually want to be president is a gigantic process and fraught with danger if you only have a few weeks to get that resolved. The advantage of Kamala Harris is that she's been in situ as vice president for nearly 4 years. She's been vetted properly, warts and all, good, bad and ugly, and there's plenty of that in her back catalogue, all of those things. She seems to me to be the obvious safe move for the party, because anybody else is going to have to go through a forensic dissemination, not just by the vetters, but then by the media, who have got their blood up like a bunch of sharks in the ocean.
Quite frankly, I don't think it matters who or how they replace Joe Biden, because whoever it is, Trump is still going to dominate this election. Like I said earlier, his policies work. He's not liked personally, but America is in such a bad place that I do think American people are willing to now look at the actions that Trump is going to take as president. Every single thing that I've personally seen that they've been using to slander Trump has either been fact-checked and confirmed as false or just merely straight up a lie. So at this point, the only person I think who stands a chance, and when I say chance, I still think they're going to lose, but they'll put up a fight, is Hillary Clinton, because she's already been down this road with Donald Trump. She knows how to campaign. It's going to be a good show for the Democrats. She's still going to lose, so it really doesn't matter in the end.
Hillary versus Donald 2.0?
You are a great one.
No, who was Hillary versus? It was Hillary versus Trump, right? Yeah.
Wind up, Miss Austin, because I can see both Cenk and Farron there recoiling in utter horror. I mean, Hillary, I'm sure, would absolutely love to do it, but she has now, along with her husband Bill, publicly endorsed Kamala Harris. I mean, do you not think there's a merit to my argument that actually she's by far the easiest choice, given she's been properly examined by the vetters, by the media for a number of years now? And also, I would put this into play. She gets all the money, if it's her, that's been given to Biden. But she also has quite an interesting perspective, if you like, against Trump. She's the former prosecutor. He's the convicted felon. You could see that she could turn that into quite an aggressive attack plan. I mean, does none of that rock your boat?
Yeah. No, look, Kamala Harris, if she wins the open convention, I'm perfectly happy to have her as the candidate. But she hasn't won that yet. And honestly, I got more votes than she did running for president. So I don't know how she's been vetted. She really...
Yeah, this guy here wants to be president. That's why he's his intentions are anything but pure. purely self-interested.
Hasn't. What does she do as vice president? I'm not talking her down. I'm just saying we don't know nearly enough. And I don't want to fall into the trap that you guys are obviously setting. You guys are all Trump fans. So you're like, yeah, pick Kamala or maybe Hillary Clinton. Yeah, that's a great idea. No, let's pick the strongest candidate.
I'm not a Trump.
And
Hang on, check. I'm not a Trump fan. People say to me, you want Trump to win. You're a Trump supporter. No.
Come on,
I have known Trump. Listen, let me set my stall. I've known Trump nearly 20 years. I get on very well with him personally, albeit we have a few rocky patches. But the bottom line is, I don't have a vote in this race. I'm a British citizen, not an American citizen. I've never told anyone to vote for Trump, and I'm as critical of him as anyone.
Though you can tell that he supports Trump by his attitude. He prefers Trump over other options. You can just tell. That's okay. You can prefer Trump over whatever chaos the Democratic Party has.
Been incredibly critical of Trump, as well as not being afraid to praise him when I think he's right. And for example, if you can't look at the way he responded to being shot and praise him, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, and I praise him for that, of course, because I have eyes and ears. And you know I'm reasonable and I'm honest about all these things. But are you guys being real? I mean, this whole idea of, Donald Trump can't be beat. He climbed like 9 points after the assassination attempt and barely got to 40. He's one of the most unpopular politicians of all time. This lunatic conspiracy theory that the Democrats would want him assassinated. Are you crazy? We want him as our opponent. He's like the weakest candidate possible.
Well, it's no coincidence. Cheng, it is no coincidence that on the day that Biden finally threw his white flag up was the day that there was a poll saying that Trump was now 7 points ahead in Michigan. That's a depth changer.
Piers, you know. Wait a minute. No, Piers, you know that I've been saying for a year, and I've been saying it on this program, that Joe Biden was definitely going to lose. He had a 0 chance because he was so deeply unpopular and his favorabilities were so low. And I was trying to snap the Democratic voters and politicians out of it. And you're welcome. I did. Having said that, that's not because Donald Trump was so popular. I'm saying almost anybody could beat Donald Trump. He's one of the 3 most unpopular people who have ever run for president. The problem is the Democrats put the other 2 against him, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden.
Right, but you're missing my
point.
So
just pick someone else and we'll win easily.
Well, hang on. Let's talk over each other. The point, Vinny, the point I would make, just before I let you respond to that, is that it's all very well, but we all know the election comes down to a few swing states, and Michigan is absolutely key. The Democrats have to win in Michigan, really, to have any chance. And to have a 7-point gap announced on Sunday morning, that is why I think Biden was basically told by the grandees of the party, you've got to stand aside. He was going to get flatlined.
But Piers, of course. That's not the only stat.
First of all, whatever. Hey, Cheng, whatever, because Cheng, I believe you're in California. Whatever marijuana you're smoking, I want you to share with the rest of us, because you are out of your mind.
Problem.
Donald Trump is an unpopular president? Are you freaking bananas? Have you seen the rallies?
You live in a bubble,
You're
Vinny.
Delusional. And Cheng, you're going to go down in history.
You can't read
when
numbers.
People see you, bro, and I actually like you, Cheng, I actually like you a lot, and I'm being genuine. I wish you would have. If you're better than Kamala, you're better than Joe. I'm being honest with you. But Cheng, you're going to go down as that guy when people see you. That's the guy that just hates Trump. That's what kind of existence is that?
I can read numbers.
And let's be honest. The Democratic Party, hold on, Cheng. The Democratic Party, let's be honest. What are you guys doing? Look at your top picks. Kamala Harris, Gavin the Snake Newsom, Hillary Clinton, Pete Buttigieg, Gretchen Whitmer. What do you guys have? At least the other side, mind you, I'm not a Republican, but I am voting for Donald Trump. As at least Vivek Ramaswamy, they have people that are energetic, that love this country. The other side is ridiculous, man. Like, what are we talking about? Like, it's unbelievable.
Guys.
By the way, I was in New York, Piers. I was in New York with Patrick Bet-David. We were there on a little vacation. And you think New York, a lot of Democrats. You should see the amount of Donald Trump hats that I saw. And even after the assassination attempt, after the freaking coup attempt,
Vinny, I'm in New York, and I've seen it. And not only seen it, I've been amazed, anecdotally, how many people are telling me they're going to vote Trump. Way more than I can ever remember in New York. So, Cenk, I'm not sure you're right about this. I felt in 2016 that many people were missing the Trump train. I'd been down in middle America and I could feel it roaring away, and I could feel intense dislike for Hillary Clinton. And I got to say, I'm feeling it exactly the same again now. And it's been, I think, a result of several things. The debate debacle, where Trump managed to conduct himself by Trump standards in a very smart way. He was pretty measured most of the time. He allowed Biden to effectively hang himself on live TV. Then the response to the assassination. And now I think he's coming out with all guns blazing, pardon the analogy, given what happened to him, but literally using what happened to him to fuel a sense that he's the strong guy in the room, that the Democrats have never looked weaker. They've now had their leader had to stand down, and they've got a completely, in Kamala Harris, if it is her, someone who, if they're just going to be a like-for-like comparison, many Americans will go, you know what, Trump seems a stronger bet here. And that's the problem for the Democrats, is how do you get away from the fact that when he was shot, Trump did this in an act of defiance, and a lot of Americans went, wow, that was ballsy. Even Mark Zuckerberg called it badass.
Yeah, indeed. Again, it's historic, right? Imagine the crazy you have to be to get shot at and not duck. That's insane. The political savvy required for that. I mean, he did become president, didn't he? All right. Let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all the notifications. Go buy my books at like Hunter M, Adrian L. Tom, and Bobby, Dylan, Renaissance Press, Brian, Andrew, Alan, Armani, and Nicholas. Shout outs to you, most recent purchaser of both my books, Strategist Guide to Seduction and Quotes to Live By. Thank you. Guys, my books can be found at bit.ly/heliosbooks. I offer early access content on my Patreon. That's patreon.com/theheliosblog. If you'd like coaching services like Nick there, all you have to do is email me. That's my email's there, theheliosblog@gmail.com, and I'll sort you right in. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.